The house is quiet. The kind of quiet where every small sound feels louder than it should. You stand up, half awake, and walk toward the bathroom. The floor is cold under your feet. The light flicks on, and before the door even fully closes, there they are. Your dog. They slip in like it's completely normal, sit down, look at you. Not anxious, not excited, just watching. Like this moment matters. And you can't help but think, why do you always do this? It feels funny, maybe even a little weird, because the obvious explanation is simple. They just don't want to be alone. But behavioral neuroscience tells a completely different story. What your dog is doing right now is one of the most complex expressions of social attachment and evolutionary survival behavior. And most owners have no idea. Let's start with the obvious theory, because it sounds reasonable. Your dog follows you to the bathroom because they're clingy, or bored, or maybe just curious. And sure, on the surface, that makes sense. Dogs like being around you. They enjoy your presence. They want attention. But here's the problem. If it were just about company, they have options. They could stay on the couch, the warmest spot in the house. They could lie near a vent or stretch out in a patch of moonlight by the window. They could even follow a sound, a smell, anything more stimulating than a bathroom. And yet, they choose you every time. Even when nothing interesting is happening, even when you close the door. So why do they keep choosing you? The answer isn't boredom. It's not curiosity. It's something much deeper. Vulnerability, attachment, and a brain wired for constant social awareness. To understand this, we need to go back to a landmark study conducted at Utrecht University in 2013, led by researchers studying canine attachment behavior. The experiment was simple. They placed dogs in a room with their owner, then introduced a stranger. After a short interaction, the owner would quietly leave. And what they found was extraordinary. Over 61% of dogs showed clear distress behaviors when their owner left, pacing, vocalizing, orienting toward the door. But here's the key detail. When the owner returned, the dogs didn't just calm down, they actively sought proximity. Not play, not food, proximity. This is what psychologists call a secure base effect, the exact same behavioral pattern seen in human infants with their caregivers. And this wasn't just one study. A 2015 follow-up study from University of Vienna found that dogs consistently used their owners as a reference point for safety in unfamiliar environments. When your dog follows you into the bathroom, they are performing the single most fundamental behavior in attachment psychology. They are staying close to their secure base. And this is where it gets emotional. Because they're not being clingy, they're telling you something incredibly specific. You are their point of safety in the world. But here's where it gets really interesting. Because this isn't just psychology, it's chemistry. In 2015, researchers from Azabu University published a groundbreaking study in Science examining oxytocin levels in dogs and their owners. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone. It's the same chemical released between mothers and infants. The researchers measured oxytocin levels before and after dogs and owners interacted. And what they found was extraordinary. When dogs and owners made prolonged eye contact, both experienced a significant increase in oxytocin, up to 130% in humans and 300% in dogs. Let that sink in. Just by being near you, your dog's brain is literally reinforcing your bond on a chemical level. And here's the part most people miss. This feedback loop doesn't exist the same way in other species. Wolves, even hand-raised ones, don't show the same oxytocin spike with humans. Cats show weaker, less consistent responses. This co-evolved specifically between dogs and humans over thousands of years. Now think about what happens in the bathroom. It's a confined space, close proximity, stillness, eye contact. This is the perfect environment for that chemical loop to activate. Your dog isn't just following you. They're participating in a biological bonding ritual. So when did this behavior start? The answer is basically from the beginning. Over 15,000 years ago, long before cities, before agriculture, even before written language, wolves began approaching human camps. Not aggressively, carefully. The less fearful ones stayed closer. They scavenged, observed, adapted. And over generations, humans unconsciously selected for those traits. Lower aggression, higher social awareness, a stronger tendency to stay close. Archaeological evidence from a 14,000-year-old burial site in Germany shows a human buried with a dog, carefully placed as if they were family. These weren't just working animals, they were companions. And modern genetic research from Princeton University and Harvard University has identified unique genetic changes in domestic dogs, particularly in regions associated with social bonding and hypersociability. Some of these changes even resemble those found in humans with heightened social attachment traits. Your dog isn't doing something unusual. They're doing something that's been selected for across 15 millennia. Now, I want to tell you about a study that nobody talks about because the finding seems impossible at first. In 2020, sleep researchers at Mayo Clinic analyzed how dogs affect human sleep quality. And objectively, the results weren't great. Participants experienced more movement, more micro-awakenings, less deep sleep. By every measurable standard, dogs made sleep worse. And yet, over 80% of participants reported feeling more rested and emotionally secure when their dog was nearby. How is that possible? Because your brain doesn't just measure rest in physical terms, it measures safety. And this is where it gets deep. Maybe your dog isn't disrupting your comfort. Maybe they're restoring something more ancient than comfort. A sense of not being alone in the dark. And now, the newest discovery. In 2023, researchers studying heart rate variability, HRV, found something remarkable. When dogs and their owners spent extended time together, their physiological signals began to align. Heart rates, stress levels, even cortisol patterns. They synchronized. But here's the key detail. This only happens in bonded pairs. When strangers interacted with the same dogs, there was no synchronization. Their nervous systems stayed separate. But with you, they sync. Your dog sitting in the bathroom with you isn't just keeping you company. Their nervous system is literally tuning itself to yours, and yours to theirs. This isn't just emotional, it's neurological. There's one last thing I need to tell you, and it might be the most important part of this video. If your dog has been following you to the bathroom for months or years, and one day they suddenly stop, don't brush it off. Dogs are creatures of habit. When a deeply established behavior disappears overnight, there's always a reason. It could be environmental, a new pet, a new person, a shift in routine. It could be physical pain, often the earliest sign, long before limping or stiffness appears. Or, in older dogs, it could signal cognitive decline. Studies estimate that over 35% of senior dogs show signs of canine dementia. Your dog doesn't have language. Behavior is the only way they can tell you something is wrong. So when that behavior changes, listen. So the next time you're standing in the bathroom and your dog quietly follows you in, sits down, and just watches, remember what's actually happening. This isn't randomness. It's 15,000 years of evolution. A neurochemical bond no other species shares with us. An attachment system built to mirror the connection between parent and child. All pointing to one simple truth. Being near you is the safest place in their world. And honestly, the science suggests it might be doing something for you too. If this changed how you see your dog, subscribe and drop a comment below. I want to know, where does your dog sit when you're in the bathroom? And if you want to understand what your dog is thinking while they sit on you, that's the next video. And the science behind it is even stranger than you'd expect.